It's Shannon.
Hello, and welcome to Keeping It Real with Shannon Live.
It's Shannon.
Because you don't know how it's going to turn out.
It's Shannon. It's Shannon.
My kids empowered me to get out.
What's going on with this remote learning and in the midst of COVID?
Working for different elected officials, learning and understanding how to put the community first.
Hi, and welcome to Keeping It Real with Shannon. Thank you so much for joining us today. Our topic is techniques that parents should use to help their kids do better in school. And I have such a wonderful special guest joining us that's going to help the parents and tell them what techniques they can use. And I'd like to introduce her at this time. Dr. Johane Bryant is a mother, a lifelong learner, an educator with over 2 decades of experience, a co-host of the Village radio talk show, and a business owner. Dr. Bryant is the president of Stillwater Art Community, Inc., a non-profit organization that supports families through education while fostering creativity. Dr. Bryant uses education, art, and games to help families grow and build stronger communities. So please help me welcome her to the show. Hello there, Dr. Bryant. How are you?
Hello, and thank you for having me on.
I'm so excited for you to be here because we got a lot to tell these parents tonight about how to help their kids, because our kids are struggling today, and in particular, after the pandemic hit, a lot of our kids fell behind, and they need to, really catch up. But the parents have to understand they can't leave everything up to the teachers and the Board of Ed. You have to be that first teacher at home, and whatever they're not getting in school, you have to make sure that they get it to make sure they graduate and and do whatever they have to do. So I really appreciate you taking the time to come on so we could give the parents some assistance tonight. So tell me about your Stillwell Arts Community Program.
Hi. Well, first of all, thank you for having me on your show to collaborate with you, to share some stuff, some wonderful good nuggets with parents in your community. So
Thank you.
Stillwater Art Community is a nonprofit that was birthed a while ago, actually. And what we do is we create different functions and activities for parents and family members, not only parents, because sometimes it's not only the parents that's raising the children, it is a community. I am a Haitian immigrant. So born in Haiti, but came up here since I was 5, 6 years old. And family for me is not just my mother and father, it is my mom, my dad, my uncle, auntie, the whole community, grandma and grandpa, extended family, because we believe in that. We believe that family is one of your first teachers. And not only that, those who surround around you. You can have church family. You can have, some of your colleagues become family. They don't have to be blood, but they have to be invested in your well-being. So we believe in creating activities, creating opportunities for parents and families to grow together and community members to grow together, to learn with children, to learn with their children. One thing I have found is how everything is going. We tend to disconnect from the family unit. And that's one of the areas that struggle a lot. We have a lot of single parents, not only mothers, but fathers as well. And we have a lot of grandparents that's raising children.
Yes.
So that's why we don't only focus on the parent element, we focus on the family unit and also the community. I remember the days, if you were doing something wrong, Big Mouth Judy or
Miss Simmons, Miss Simmons.
They would be
everything.
Yes, I'm a call and tell your parents, why are you out so late? What are you doing? So that's what we need. We need a charge back like, hey, we need the community members. We need our big mouth, friends and family and neighbors to get back on their posts.
Right.
Because what's happening right now, it's because everybody's in isolation. Everybody's doing their own thing. I'm gonna, work, go home, and that's it. But we are community beings.
Mhm.
We are individuals that actually we survive in collaboration. We survive in unity.
But Dr. Bryant, not cutting you off, but that part about you are saying that we have to come together as the community in the village, but also you need to tell the parents too that okay, in order to become a village, you have to give the person permission to say something to your child. Because when
Yes.
you say something to the child, then hear the parent like, well, why are you saying something to my child for? Blah, blah, blah. And you trying to help them. And then if something happens to the child, right? And you didn't do anything and they get hurt or something happened to them, then they're going to say, oh,
To
you
blame
was
you.
there and you didn't even say anything. So why should I say anything then?
Oh my goodness, that is so true. So we have a lot of young parents. We have older parents who are also very protective. So being protective is great, but being protective and allowing to know when you need help, when you need someone else to actually participate, to help out. It takes many hands to make light work. That's
Exactly. Exactly.
and I wouldn't be where I was just with my parents alone. It took a whole community. And many of us, raising children, um, we say, oh, yeah, I could do this. I could do. You cannot do it by yourself.
You can't.
You
You
cannot.
can't.
The
You can't.
school needs you. During
You can't.
COVID, a lot of parents were hands on and they realized, oh, I
E-
can't do this.
Exactly, because it was too much. It was too
Yes.
much. It was
Yeah.
too much. But
And
how would you say like to parents now? I mean, we understand that parents work. They
Mhm,
have to work. Sometimes parents have two jobs, and they have to
of
work.
course.
But I still feel that you have to make some time to spend with the children and not give them the tablet and phone to babysit for them. You have to be talking to them because you need to know if there's something going on with them, to make sure that they understanding their work in school, talking to the teacher. You need to know your principal. Like I had some parents that I would talk to sometimes. They couldn't even tell me the principal name of the child's school. And I was like, don't ever let nobody know you don't know the principal's name at your child's school. You know what I'm saying? So that means you telling me you are not that involved. You know what I'm saying? It's not that involved. And you have to be involved at school as well as being involved with them at home because you need to know even what's being taught with the teacher is something going on with the teacher. You know what I'm saying? It's just so much you have to be in, but you can do it. You can work two jobs and still do it. You know what I'm saying?
That is true. That is true. And that's why many times I say it's not only you raising a child, it's you, it's the family unit, it's your school. It takes, if you're involved in a church or something, they're supposed to be involved because they're nurturing and they're adding on. They might see something like you mentioned. They might see something and address the child and say, hey, you know what? I saw you did something that wasn't right. That parents shouldn't be up and armed to say, hey, you know what? You shouldn't talk to my child. No,
Mm-hmm.
because if we don't say something, we're going to end up seeing a negative effect. So the core right now is, hey, everyone, let's get back to our post. COVID
Exactly.
remind you that you need people. You can't live in isolation. And many times they wanted the kids to go back to school. But guess what? The school was trying to say, hey, connect with us. Hey, you know what? You are the first parent that these children have. And guess what? During COVID, you learn how to be a parent and an educator at the same time. It's not easy. But the thing
Mm-hmm.
is, there is so much done and so much that can work if we partner together.
Yeah.
And that's the core.
And like Dr. Vanessa just said, that you have to be involved from the early stages. You have
Yeah.
to be involved from the time that child is born.
Yes.
Because by the time they get ready to go to school, they should already know how to read. This is what I tell the parents all the time. Why do you wait to send a kid to the school at 4 and 5 years old and think the teacher got time to teach them how to read and they got like 25 kids in the class?
Mhm.
That's something you should be doing at home because you can teach those kids. To me, if they can get on those phones and tell you how to work the phone,
There you go. There you go.
they know how to read a book.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because my little granddaughter, when she was like about 4 years old, they showed me how to work my phone because I couldn't work the phone or whatever. So that told me, well, then that means you can learn in school then. So I don't want to hear nothing about you can't learn anything in school. And this is the problem, is because we don't start at an early age talking to them, working with them, because these kids are smart today. They already born smart.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what they're eating and drinking, but they already born smart. So they not like it was when we came. They already know. So we also got to teach the parents too.
Mm-hmm.
Even though we might be a parent, we don't know everything.
Oh no, I'll be quick to say yes.
We
I'm
don't know
raising
everything.
2 set of teenagers, and I'm like, oh Lord, help me, because you know what? I reach out to those who actually went through what I went through, or who's
Mhm.
going through, who mastered the art of, you know what? I'll go to my parents. Yes, it's a different time or place, or I might go to a friend of mine who actually have teenagers, the same,
Mhm.
you know, who graduated college,
Right.
and say, hey, you know what? Did you have to deal with this? And you might joke around or whatever, but no, you're asking them for, hey, you know what? You might have to take my child, because at this point right now, I don't know if I could deal with this. I don't know. You know?
I know that some of the parents be sending the kids over to the relative's house or the friend's house and saying, you know, they can't deal. And it's good that they do it, because sometimes the parent become abusive
Yeah,
because they can't take the stress,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
coming from children or the child or something like that. Because some of these children can really be a handful.
Oh
Now,
yeah.
see,
And
we come from the old school. See, I come from the old
yeah,
school. We believe in tapping. We don't know nothing about no law. I don't know nothing about no child service and all that kind of stuff. Your butt got a whipping. That's what happened.
well, I grew up in a West Indian straight Pentecostal household, so I ain't know nothing else but respect. But here it is. It's a different time. It's a different time, and laws are used to support, but also against you. That parents are afraid
Mhm.
to intervene. They're afraid to say something. But if you don't say something, it's better you raise your child than the
Exactly.
system raise your child. So my
Exactly.
thing
Exactly.
is, um, please get involved and open up your mouth and say, hey, I need help. I don't know how to
Exactly.
address this. I don't know everything. And I'll be the first one to say, hey, I don't know how to deal with this, but let me reach out to over here. You know, I don't know how
Mhm.
to solve this problem. Hey, can you work with me or whatever? And
Well,
go from
we're gonna take a quick break, Dr. Bryant, and we're gonna be right back to talk some more. But we want to get really into the techniques when we come back. We'll be right back.
It's Shannon. It's Shannon.
Okay, Dad. 1, 2, 3. You saved me. Dad?
Are you okay?
I'm fine, dear.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
Hi, welcome back. Thanks for joining us. And my special guest today is Dr. Johane Bryant. And she's an educator, and she has her own Stillwater Arts program that helps parents and give them techniques and how to work with their children. Now, Dr. Bryant, let's talk about the different styles of parenting. You know, you can be a permissive parent, you can be authoritative parent, a neglectful parent, you know, authoritative parent, depending on your parenting style that you should, you know, work with your child with. So, I mean, we know about the parents that neglect their children, but the authoritative parent, that's more the strict parent that, you know, lets the child know what has to be done. I guess we come from more of that school, like, oh, this is what you're going to be doing. I don't want to hear nothing from your mouth. Get over there and do your, you know, like what's I don't think that's what you would say a better technique, but how would the parent decide on like what technique they're going to use?
Well, first of all, you have to get to know your child. That is so important. If you do not know your child, then you won't know what style works best for them. And that is a mistake that many parents use. Oh, my parents grew up saying this is how it how you're going to do things. You have no say, nothing like that. That is back in the days, old style,
Right.
raising your child. And many of those children end up rebelling and going far away and total left. So balance is key. Balance is key. And then you have another set of parents who, okay, my child could do no wrong. Let them be, let them discover, let them, it's great
Let
to
them have the freedom to speak. They should say what they want to say.
But guess what? If you are that type of parent that, your child could do no wrong or whatever, and they end up doing something wrong, guess who's going to be blamed? You. They're going to embarrass you at every point. And sometimes the end result is not that great. You have to say no sometimes. You have a child cannot raise you. You have to raise the child. And that's
Exactly.
where that thin line is. And then you have another set of parents who, they're strict, but then they're respectful and they believe in
Mhm.
communication. And that's key. Yes, you could set certain rules and order and things in place, but at the end of the day, you're showing them the reason behind what it is that you're saying. You're not just saying,
Mhm.
just do it my way and that's it. Now,
Mhm.
children ask questions, and they should, because guess what? That's how they learn. And
Exactly.
from there, in addition, then you have some parents who just don't care.
Exactly.
We don't have parents like that
Mhm.
listening. We have parents
Exactly.
who want to get involved. We have parents who are trying to find a balance. And also, your child's personality also plays what type of style you need to take. Don't be too extreme. That would cause the child that first exit out, they go running and causing them to do things that will spite what
Right.
that you do. So you
Right.
have to learn how to give and take, and that's where relationship come about. What I have to say is I work with an amazing group of educators and individuals that are part of Stillwater, our community. Some are parents and some are just educators. But guess what? They love what it is to mean to educate children beyond as
Mhm.
though they gave birth to them. That we
Right.
take,
Right.
hey, we're dealing from students who don't have, we're dealing with students who actually are, that will test you and try you. But guess what?
Exactly.
Those are the children, and those are the children that's requesting support more than usual. They're not, um, they're asking for attention in a way that they're not receiving at home.
Right.
Many times that's the act of saying, hey, you know what? I just need somebody to hear me out. That
Exactly.
toughest one is the one that you should embrace, love, hug up on, because that's the one you don't want to lose. And that's what
Mhm.
we do. We create opportunities for parents to say, hey, you know what? Forget the cell phone. Put that to the side. Let's play a game. Let's get to know who your child is. What do
Exactly.
you like?
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
do it. But then while we're doing these different types of activities, we're also learning, not in isolation, but together as a family. Because guess what? Every day is an opportunity for you to learn, to grow, and to develop who
And
you are.
also, Dr. Brian, too, when you said that about when you get together with your children and you do things with them, it also opens them up to be more that they'll come to you
Mhm.
and tell you when something is going on. In other words, they're not afraid to
Mhm.
come and tell you something because sometimes children are
Hi.
just afraid to say something to the parent that when something happened. But see, when you are talking to them constantly, asking them, what happened in school today, what happened or whatever, and you tell them, you know, if because I always told my daughter, look, I don't care what anyone say to you or threaten you or whatever. If someone says something to you, you tell me. Even if you were in the wrong, I need to know because then I know how to talk. Just like if I had to go up to the school for her, you better tell me the truth before I get to the school because I'm gonna have to know how to deal with the principal before I get there. Because I'm not going up there talking about you didn't do this and you didn't do that. If you did it, tell me so when I get up there, I'll know how to talk to the teacher or the
You
principal
just
when I
said
get
an important thing. One key things that I want parents and guardians and community members to know: get to know who your kids' educators are. Get to know who they are. When they're in
there.
high
Yes,
school, that doesn't mean that you disconnect. When they're in middle school, that doesn't mean they know it all. Absolutely not. That's the
no,
for you to get more engaged. Because guess what? High school, yes, they have a little independence, they have a little freedom, and middle school, they're walking by themselves or whatever. But guess you don't know what they're getting involved in.
exactly.
Nowadays, you
Yes.
don't know, and you don't know who they're surrounding around.
Exactly. And
So,
you need to know who those friends are. Don't just let your kids go to people's house and you don't know who house they go into.
oh, yes,
You
yes,
don't you
yes,
don't just say, okay, it's okay to go send them to that person's house. You don't know what's going on in that house. If
yes,
they say, oh, even the high school kids, like you were saying, even with my daughter, she talking about going to a party. Give me that parent's number. Because I'm gonna call the house to see who's gonna be over there at the party and who's looking at keeping an eye on y'all while y'all in their partying and carrying on.
that's true. Another thing I have to say, um, when you mention about the friends, now with social media and technology, that became a threat for parents because if you're not online checking out, you don't know what they're doing.
Exactly.
You don't know who they're communicating with.
Exactly.
And I noticed a couple of your listeners and a couple of people mention a couple of things like Sonia Hurdle mentioned, which is a educator, a phenomenal educator and parent, that they're never too old, never too big for you to say, hey, you know what? And especially boys. I'm gonna say that I have a boy. I'm raising a boy and I'm raising a
That's what
daughter.
I'm
I'm
saying.
raising a son and a daughter, and it's not easy because we tend to nurture, but in the process, we have to let them know the truth. As a
Mhm.
male, you are a target. As a
Well,
black,
even though they big, Dr. Bryant, they still need some instructions here and some rules and regulations. Just because you in high school or whatever, that don't mean you don't have no rules. If I say be home at 6 o'clock, that means you be home at 6 o'clock.
absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. And that's where we as parents need to get more involved. Get involved with the PTA. Find out let me tell you, my children's school are sick and tired of me. The guidance counselor get an
I
email
know, I
every
know,
week, every
I
Monday, an email from me. The teachers know, hey, I noticed this grade, or I noticed you didn't grade this. They received that from me. And guess what? The principal knows.
yes, yes.
Yes, you will get to know who I am because, and even my daughter's about to graduate out of middle school, about to go into high school. Well, the high school already know who I am because I emailed, I call, I go in person. So make yourself known.
That's what my granddaughter's school know who Grandma Shannon is. When
Mhm.
I walk in the building, oh, that's Bree's grandma, because I would go to the PTA meetings. I'd be sitting right up front like I'm the parent or whatever, asking questions, talking, and
Mhm.
like always told my granddad, whatever happens during the day, I don't care what it is, you tell me or your mother what went down because we need to know what's going on, and that's what I tell parents all the time. If you let this teacher and the principal know that you are an involved parent, you don't have to be up there all the time because when your child do something wrong, trust me, they will pick up the phone and call you.
Mhm.
It's when you are like a daisical and you not showing no interest, then they don't have as much interest in your child, which they supposed to as educators. But a
Mhm.
lot of time that happen. But when they know you're going to be up there, they don't want to be dealing with you. They're not going to deal with you.
But you know what? Teachers want parents involved. Teachers want parents involved. In addition
Yes,
to that, let
they do.
let the teachers know, hey, you know what? I might not know how to do this. And they might say, hey, grab this book or grab this activity and grab this. And that's what we do as a community. You're not going to know everything. But guess
Exactly.
what? We bring a group of educators that come spend their time to show you what to do so you're not disconnected from education, you're not disconnected from parenting, and you're not disconnected from knowing what your laws, what your rules, and how to support your child. So what we say from Stillwater, get involved.
Get involved.
Involved from the time they are young. While we had a couple of people who were pregnant, and guess what? Find out some key signs that you should watch out from the early time they come out. If they're not doing certain things, pay attention. Not only when they're young, but also when they're older. Because
but when you but if you're an involved parent like that, Dr. Brown, even when they get into older grades and stuff like that, you know, we have some good teachers. All teachers are not bad. We have some good teachers. They will pick up the slack of sometime when you can't do something, then they will do it for your child or whatever. When they see you really that type of parent, they know you a working parent, they will pick up some of the slack for you by talking to your children and stuff like that. So that's why it pays to know who your teacher is. Like you said, they need to know who you are. If you don't do them, but talk to them on the phone occasionally to find out how Daisy's doing today. Is everything in school with her all right? You know, blah, blah, blah. So that way, you know, you are talking back and forth to the educator at the school. And then when they come home, it's important that you talk to them around the dinner table. That's the best place to be talking, is around the dinner table.
Well, if you have time.
Put them phones down and them tablets down so we can talk to each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know.
Say this. We create different opportunities for parents to actually join us, to learn with us, to grow with us. And when we have function, we say bring the kids along, because that's what you actually showcase. We showcase and we show you what to do. So you do it together with your child and go back home and do it again. So, you know, hey, you can reach us. We're on, people could reach us at www.stillwaterartcommunity.org. They could reach us there and find out what's happening, because we're constantly having function. From special ed activities, from IEP activities, knowing your rights, getting hands-on, having fun. Let's come and join. Let's come and play games. Let's dance. Let's have fun. Let's bring the community together to support our children, keep them safe and off the streets. So listen.
Well, thank you, Dr. Bryant. Thank you for all the good information you have given us tonight. And I hope parents, you know, will get more involved with their children. And, you know, and don't be screaming at people that want to help you with your kids and stuff like that. So I just want to thank you. Thank you for coming on. Thank our guests for joining us also tonight, our audience for coming in and giving comments and stuff. Bishop, good to hear from you also. And look, go to our Facebook page and like us. Go to our YouTube page and subscribe. You can also watch us every Saturday at 5:30 on Brick Arts Media and on Manhattan Neighborhood Network at 2:30. So thank you so much for joining us. And my co-host is down there in Bali having a good time. So have a good time with Russell Simmons, okay? So as always, thank you for joining us tonight. And thank you again, Dr. Bryant. And we'll see you next time. Thank you.
Today's show is sponsored by Abu's Bakery. If you have a sweet tooth, stop by Abu's Bakery for some delicious cakes and pies.
Do you like beautiful pictures for your home or your office? Then stop by Space Art Gallery. They have a large selection of pictures from around the world.
It's Shannon.